Good morning, YouTube. I woke up today and decided that today's the day that I become a YouTuber, okay? So take it or leave it. That's what we're doing now. This is not my first rodeo, okay? We've been in this position before where I say I'm gonna start YouTube and then I never do, or I do and then I end up overthinking and deleting everything I post. So I know what you're thinking, Kendall, what's different this time around? Okay, hear me out. First off, it's been several years. Okay, the last time I was like consistently posting on YouTube, I was a literal teenager, and a very self-conscious one at that. So I feel like that was a huge contributor as to like why I kept deleting everything, is I kind of just hated myself and everything I said and did. And then I think the second reason that I constantly doubted my content is that I didn't feel authentic enough. And I have like a really big issue if I don't feel like I'm being authentic in a situation. I think one of the biggest obstacles I need to get over, and we're working on it, but I've taken some precautions this time, is when I have a camera pointed at me, I completely forget who I am, what I am, what my personality is. Sometimes I just completely forget how to even speak English, okay? So the precaution is this little guy. I don't know if you can see him very well. I invested in a little mic because that way I don't have to like hold my camera and like have that pressure of speaking right to you, worrying about angles, worrying about carrying my camera. Instead, I can set you guys up and I could be like way back here and we can still have a conversation. But so far, I mean, we're only like 30 seconds in, but I do feel like it's helping me speak to the camera without actually having to like speak to the camera, if that makes sense. I also feel like there's this like weird pressure to find your niche. Is that the right way to say that word? I never know if it's niche or niche. I always feel like there's this like weird pressure on influencers to find a niche and stick with that niche. And obviously my niche is fitness primarily, but I also really like doing lifestyle stuff. And I feel like when it comes to fitness content creators, there's kind of two main options. You can be really entertaining or you can be really informative. And if I'm being honest, I am not either and I don't want to be either. I kind of want to just like pick up my camera and be able to hang out with you guys and have some conversations and it not have a pressure to be something. That's what we're doing today. We're just gonna hang out together, go about my day. I had you guys ask me some questions over on Instagram, so I'm gonna be like answering those while I do my daily activities. I feel like that's gonna help me like break the ice a little. Okay, I'm still really freaking nervous right now and I don't know why. It kind of feels like I'm on like a first date. We're on a first date, you guys. How exciting. The first order of business is to go to Best Buy because the camera I'm currently filming on has already died 3 times. And again, we're only like a minute into the video, so that's concerning. So we're gonna go buy some new batteries. As you can tell by the giant pile sitting right in front of me, we're about to do some laundry together. And I know what you're thinking. Wow, Kendall, that's so riveting and entertaining. I know. I said it before and I wasn't kidding. I just want to hang out with you guys. I don't want to feel the need to do anything wildly entertaining and unrealistic. This is realistic for me, okay? It's a Saturday morning. We're doing some laundry. And I know you, yes, you listening, you probably have a task or a chore or even laundry yourself that you're procrastinating. Now's the perfect opportunity to not do it alone. Prop me up right next to you. Get your hangers out. Let's do some laundry together. Then we can both feel good and productive, right? And I'll like try to be mildly entertaining during the fact. Okay, I know I said this video is technically a Q&A, but before we get into the actual questions, I need to just explain how my morning's going because I am feeling a little bit stressed out, if I'm being honest. Do you guys ever have one of those days where like you wake up and immediately like X, Y, and Z goes wrong, so that like sets the tone for the whole day and now everything stresses you out? Because that's the type of day I'm having, and typically that would be the type of day where I would give up on filming a YouTube video. But again, we are persevering. We are not giving up this time. So the only thing really going wrong, I have had the camera that I'm currently using that you're seeing me through for like almost a year now. And it's just great. I've never had a single complaint. I've never had a single problem. It's been amazing, right? Today though, of course, the one day I'm determined to make a YouTube video, my battery decides to act up, right? He's acting out. The YouTube gods are really trying to keep me from you, trust me. My camera had died like 3 times filming the clips you've seen already. It was really frustrating because it kept dying and I didn't understand why. And every time I would plug it in, it like wasn't even charging. Like it would just show that the battery was already almost dead. So I was like, huh, that's weird. It must be a battery issue. So I went to Best Buy, right? And I go into Best Buy and I do a quick Google of like, what camera battery fits my camera model, right? And of course, I trust Google like an idiot. And the first one to pop up, I'm like, that must be it. So that's what I buy. And I spent $100 and your girl is a cheapo, okay? So that that already took a lot out of me. So I get back to my car, right? And I'm like, well, I really should be vlogging this. Like, the whole point of today is taking you guys with me. So I go to like put the new battery in so I can film like a quick clip for you, right? And explain what's going on. But it doesn't fit. I bought the wrong battery. I know you guys don't know me like incredibly well yet, but one thing I feel like you can catch on quickly to is the fact that I'm a very anxious human being. Like, everything scares me. So I'm not gonna lie, it was a little nerve-wracking. I had to hype myself up to walk back into Best Buy and be like, hey, so this is embarrassing, but I actually bought the wrong thing. Can I exchange it? It ended up being fine. I ended up buying the right one, got back to my car. And then on my drive home, I charged my camera the whole drive home. And again, I got home and it didn't charge. So I'm thinking it's a camera problem and not a battery problem. So this video might be shorter than I was planning on it being, just for the sheer fact of like, I'm gonna have to plug it in after every single clip I film. It's only gonna get up from here, okay? I think it's proving to myself too that I'm like committed to actually starting YouTube this time around, because I definitely 120% would have already given up if this was like last week. Okay, we're gonna answer some questions while I clean, because my place is an absolute mess. We're continuing the chore train, okay? I'm determined to get things done today. So the first question is probably the one I got the absolute most of. How did I get started in the fitness industry, in the fitness world, working out, all of that fun stuff? I always think about this because I never really know what my answer is. Does anyone else struggle every single time they have to put a garbage bag into their garbage can? Like, why do they make them so freaking not stretchy? Just make it like elastic. It will be better for everyone. As I was saying, what got my start in the gym, in the fitness industry, whatever you want to call it, was basically my family. I was born into like a very sports-oriented family. So I've been doing sports since I could literally walk. I have 3 older brothers. All of them played hockey and football and all of that stuff. This is a little bit of a tangent, but I have no like normal hand-eye coordination. I can't catch a ball for the life of me, okay? But what I can do is all the weird sports. So that's what I did growing up. So first sport, figure skater. Second sport, cheerleader. Third sport, gymnast. Platform diver, pole vaulter. Those were my sports. And I honestly credit a lot of my like love for fitness to being from gymnastics. I feel like having that introduction to like being a muscular woman and having work ethic and all of that stuff really came from gymnastics. So as soon as I became like 13, started going through puberty, started gaining weight. That's when I first started going to the gym, which I know sounds insane, but like my first gym membership, I was literally 12 or 13 years old. And of course I wasn't like actively lifting weights at that age. I think that's like a little bit young to be doing that, but I would go and I would do the workouts that I was used to doing from gymnastics. So a lot of like calisthenic work, a lot of like pull-ups, push-ups, leg raises, all of that stuff. That gave me a really good foundation for muscle. And then honestly, I feel like I just became obsessed, and I have had gym memberships ever since I was 12 or 13. And then just to take it a little bit further, just to give you the full rundown, okay? When I was in high school, I started battling a lot of like mental health problems, if you want to call them that. And the gym really felt like my one place I could go every day and like spend time alone and better myself and push myself and not have a coach or a parent or anyone else putting pressure on me. So I always took a liking to working out. And then when I moved to Texas, I was towards the end of high school, and same thing, the gym just was always my comfort zone. I moved during the school year and I moved into a really big school, and it was really scary to try to like make new friends. So instead I would go before and after school to the gym and make friends there, because I at least had like common ground with these people, right? So that's where I spent most of my time. I had a really hard time making friends at that school, mostly because like as people did find out that I was like a fitness girl and had like a fitness page and all this stuff, I did get like a little bit of bullying, not a lot, but like enough where I was like, okay, these are not my people. So instead I viewed the gym as like my means to meet people, to make friends, all of that. So I feel like I just like really became obsessed with the gym because of the culture of it, because of the people. And then around that year, like my junior, senior year of high school was the first time I started competing, which is crazy. I was so young, but I don't regret it. The next question, continuing on like the gym bodybuilding train, and then I promise I'll go into some like stuff about me, not just about the gym version of me. I was asked, do you think you'll ever compete again? Why do you think you haven't? Great question. I never really know how to answer this because it's one of those things where it's like never say never, right? Like I'm sure maybe in a year or two, I'm going to get the itch again and go back. So I'm not going to say like I'm retired from the sport by any means, but I think trailing off of like what I had just said, I started competing when I was like 16 or 17, right? And that's really young to be really strict on your food intake, your discipline, your hormones, your health, your mental health. Like I went all in, okay? I was not the type of person that would cheat on a prep. I took my meals, my water, my workouts, my cardio 110% seriously. And when you do that starting at such a young age, I feel like it can condition your mental state and relationship towards food and your body and body dysmorphia to become not so happy. So I feel like that's what happened to me, to be honest. Not to get crazy deep on you guys, but after my last prep was definitely like the most depressed and worst relationship I've ever had with myself and food and the gym I've ever had in my whole life. So that was kind of like a reality check for me that like, okay, I need to put my mental health before a sport. Like, duh. But when you're obsessed with bodybuilding and you're in the midst of it and you just want to keep going and you want that pro card, it's really easy to lose sight of like who you really are at the core. So I had to step back just for me, just to regain my health, regain my focus, regain my priorities. And I do think I'm in like such a different state of mind now, such a different part of my life now that I could definitely go back. I feel like I could definitely do a prep and still be healthy and happy afterwards. It just does scare me. It is intimidating because I know what that sport did to my mental health in the past. And it's like, of course I'm going to be nervous to go back to it. With that being said, it's not like I really changed my training style at all. I think I still train like a bodybuilder that is maybe in like a maintenance or an off season. So I think if I ever do decide to go back, it's not like I have to change a whole lot. I would just have to start doing more cardio again. Also unrelated, but I bought new headphones because I'm the type of girl to lose my headphones every single time I buy a new pair. I've literally gone through, like I'm not exaggerating, at least 20 pairs this year. I know, it's a problem. I was gonna say I'm working on that, but I'm really not. Like I take no precautions with my headphones, okay? I just kind of throw them in my gym bag and pray that they'll still be there later. I have random boxes to break down. Weirdly, I don't know why, but I like don't know how to properly break down a box. So I usually end up just putting them on the ground and stomping on them, but I'm determined today to properly break these guys down. The next two questions are about content, so I'm gonna like group them together. The first one is, how did you become so confident in front of the camera? Your photos are fire. First off, thank you, appreciate you, love you. I'm assuming you mean with only photography, because this is proof right now that I am not confident when I am filming. Like something about being on video is far more intimidating to me. But as far as answering for like content in general or like photography specifically, I think it's just practice over anything. I don't know when the switch happened. I used to be the girl that wouldn't even like take out my iPhone to take a selfie in the gym. Like the thought of being in front of people and taking pictures was so terrifying to me. So yeah, I used to never do it. What helped? That's such a good question, because like now I could take photos in front of anyone and I don't give like two shits about it. But at the time, I remember being terrified. I honestly think the biggest switch for me was making friends that had similar interests or also like to make content. That way we were kind of in it together. When I first started growing my Instagram per se, like I had 2 or 3 best friends that were also avidly trying to grow their fitness accounts. So it made it a lot less scary, because if we were shooting in the gym, we were all shooting. So like we had someone manning the camera, we had someone posing, we had someone hyping the other 2 up, like stuff like that. And then I think over time, like now majority of my content I take completely by myself on like self-timer. But I think having that like initial group of like, I'm not doing this alone, I shouldn't be embarrassed, like all of that really helped. So if you have anyone that could help you take photos, at least to start out, that helps a lot. Even if they're not manning the camera, even if they're just there as support, I still notice like if I go to the gym with my boyfriend, even if he's just near me while I'm taking pictures, I feel less intimidated or less embarrassed, just because I feel like I'm not in it completely alone, if that makes sense. And then the second half of that, as far as like actually getting comfortable in front of the camera and like knowing what to do with your hands and with your face and all of that, if I'm ever doing a photo shoot for someone else, sidebar, I do photography. I don't know if people know that or not. I don't talk about it a lot. But anytime I'm shooting someone who has like never done a gym photo shoot before, I will start by setting them up right in front of the mirror. I'll hide kind of in the back. I'll still be taking photos of them, but not like directly in their face. And I'll tell them to just hit poses that they know they feel like confident and beautiful in. And then after I capture those and show them some examples, they're like, oh wow, I do look really good. And I'm like, okay, remember the pose you just hit? Now let's step away from the mirror and do the same exact thing. So that's a tip, I guess, for anyone. If you're not sure what looks good, just start by posing in front of the mirror first, and then you can kind of like take it away and become more comfortable. And then, yeah, I'm sorry. I think my ADHD makes me like go on so many tangents when I'm trying to answer questions. So I apologize in advance for like the 25-minute long responses. I could definitely answer these in 2 words, but I'm diving in. The next question, again, like I said, is kind of still tying into content. How long on average do you spend creating your content from start to finish? I feel like this is totally dependent. Like this YouTube video today, I'm not doing anything else. Like today's whole day is making a YouTube video. And I do think that's because it is my first video, so I'm putting a lot of pressure on it. So this is like an all-day event, and then it's probably gonna take me several hours to edit, and then knowing me, I'm gonna overthink it and sit on the video for a few days before actually posting it. Versus like an Instagram photo at this point, if I'm taking a gym photo, that's like what I'm the most comfortable doing and have the most experience with. So I know my poses, I know my gym's lighting, like I know all of that. So like actually taking the photo would take max like 5 minutes. And then editing, it totally depends. Like if the lighting is good and everything, I could be done editing in 5 minutes, post it, boom, everything in 10 minutes, right? But if the lighting's bad and I have like a lot of color grading to do or something of that sort, it can definitely take me like closer to an hour of editing. But I feel like I'm harder on myself and a little more picky with the photos if I'm not in the gym. Either way, it could literally range from 10 minutes to like a 3-day project, depending on what it is. Okay, last box, last question, and then we're gonna go get ready for the gym. The next question is just asking like best advice for dealing with anxiety. As I stated earlier, and as you can tell, I have anxiety. Many of us do. We actually just did a whole podcast episode talking about anxiety, our experience, and then giving tips on like what we did to help ours and what we still implement to help ours on a regular basis. So if you want a very in-depth answer, I will link that video down below for you to go listen to. But just some like basic tips. I think one is finding the source. If something specifically is making you anxious, like obviously stop doing it. If you get rid of the thing causing your anxiety, you're gonna have less anxiety. Sometimes we don't have the luxury of getting rid of whatever's triggering it for us. So if you have to deal with certain people, events, whatever it is that give you anxiety anyway, at least going into those situations, having that like mental preparation of, I know X causes me anxiety, so I need to start implementing blah, 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 blah. If I know a certain thing is about to be anxiety inducing, it's just like breath work. I think having like really deep intentional breaths, centering yourself, bringing yourself like back to your body can really help you not get so much in your head. So anytime I have to like meet a lot of people or go to a big event, also like, what is this box? I will sit in my car beforehand. Miss Julia Renee taught me this. And I'll do some breath work. I'll do some like intentional breathing and think about like how the situation's about to go, what the best case scenario could be and stuff like that. But just giving myself like a little bit of mental clarity before going into the stressful anxiety zone, right? Another big one for me, similar to breath work, is just like the music I listen to. I have certain playlists that make me feel very like peaceful and calm and happy. So at times of stress, if I notice I am having like really bad anxiety or an anxiety attack, the first thing I'll do is start playing that music that kind of gets like my heart rate to start settling down, give me some like comfort, familiarity, you know? And then the third tip, just for right now, again, I have like a million bajillion tips, but these are like easy every single day things you can start doing, is just talking to someone. Even if it's like voicing it to your mom, voicing it to your best friend, like talking to a therapist, whatever it is. I think just getting those feelings and those thoughts out so they're not just festering in your head, oftentimes like immediately eliminates the anxiety I'm having. Like as soon as I speak out into the universe, I'm anxious because of XYZ, it like almost starts to subside on its own. So yeah, overall, just identifying it, doing pre-active exercises like breath work, listening to certain music, stuff like that, and then definitely speak up. Anyway, we're gonna go get ready for the gym now. I don't know where to put this thing because it's huge, so I might have to just carry it to the recycling bin myself. Like, what is this? Okay, I just got back from the gym and I'm actually running a little bit late because we're about to go see a hockey game tonight. So I need to pick an outfit quickly so that we have time to get food before we go because I am hangry. Gonna burn my pasta. Our pasta. We just got back from the game. We did not win, but it was entertaining. Honestly, if I'm being honest here, the goalie on the opposing team, OP. I honestly don't know how he wasn't drafted. That man was really impressive. But either way, entertaining game. Love me some hockey. We are now cooking pizza and pasta behind me to make ourselves feel better. So yeah. Honestly, if you're even seeing this video, that is a win. That means we posted. Round of applause for that one, please. I will obviously get better with time. Okay, this one might be a little rough. We might have to private this one in a year or two when I'm cringing at it. But for now, I'm proud that I'm even doing this, okay? This is a big step for me. If I'm being honest, like back in January, I remember my goal of the month in January was to film and post my first YouTube video. And then I didn't do it, clearly, obviously. So that became my goal for February, and then March, and then April. And now we are finally here, and it might be October, but at least I'm doing it before the end of the year. Honestly, who knows when the next one will be? I'm going to attempt to be consistent. I'm not going to put a schedule out there yet because that I feel like will put too much pressure on me and then scare me away. So we're going to start with just this one, see how it does, you know, see how we feel. And then hopefully, eventually, soon, I can start posting weekly. But for now, thank you for watching. I love you. Thank you for your constant support on my other platforms. Please remember to subscribe, like this video if you didn't hate it, or if you just feel bad for me. Honestly, I'll take whatever.